back to my channel. It's Shay and this is my 22-week pregnancy update. Hey guys, welcome back. So as I said, this is my 22-week pregnancy update. I actually don't remember the last time I did an update, but we're here now. It's pretty hard to film at the moment because our apartment is just, this is the only room that really works for filming. And it's also the room that my husband works from home in. It's also the room that we used to eat. It's also like our recreation room. So there's just a lot going on in here and I find it really difficult to find good opportunities to film. So Prim is here as well. She's my guide dog. She's in my lap. Normally she's off to the side. I don't know if you can see her. I think she's a little too low for the camera. But she's a black lab and she's just hanging out here in my lap. She thinks she's a lap dog. A little too big for that, but she believes it. So anyway, today I figured I'd go over pretty much the same categories that I've used in other videos. So I'll talk about the blind parenting tip of the week. I'll also talk about my symptoms and kind of what I've been experiencing in my body, things I've been considering, prayers and praise, and I'm going to show you some little organization things that I've been working on and talk about cloth diapering. So let's get started. Blind parenting tip of the week. This week I have been considering baby socks. So I have a friend who has a baby and his socks are constantly falling off. She's losing them in the shops and they fall off in the car and they fall off all over the house, and like she's sighted and she's having trouble keeping up with them, and I was just like, that is not gonna work for me. I'm gonna lose all of them. It's not going to be a good thing, so I really would like to avoid using baby socks. So one solution that she suggested was to use tights. Even if you have a boy, throw tights on him and put pants over it. That way his feet will stay covered. You can also use just those kind of footy outfits. I mean, it's COVID times, so who's going out anyway? Like, who cares if your baby's in pajamas all day? Something else you can do is put the socks underneath of a footy outfit. That way the socks are less likely to be pulled off of their feet because they're covered by the cloth of the onesie. And then the third option, which is something I'm hoping to do myself, is booties or soft bottomed shoes. So at first I kind of thought baby shoes were like a super waste of money because obviously they're not walking around, so like why would they need shoes? But they actually, a lot of them have much better closures than a sock. Like more than just elastic, you know, they might actually have a strap. Even if they do have elastic, it's like firmer than what you would see on a sock. And a lot of them you don't need to have socks on under them, so you can just have the booty straight on their foot because it's like soft leather or suede or fleece on the inside, and that way it keeps their feet warm, they don't fall off, you're not losing them constantly, and it's not a frustration you have to deal with. So those are my tips for baby socks and covering your baby's feet for a blind parent or just any parent that doesn't feel like looking for socks all the time. So moving on, I guess my symptoms have been pretty mild recently, which has been great. It was just like full swing, like second trimester, feeling good, which is amazing. I enjoy it, especially in comparison to the first one. But definitely I still have a little bit of nausea here and there, but it is completely connected to whether I eat properly, like whether I'm getting enough protein. So keeping up with that is really good. I found drinking milk has been really helpful, like on a regular basis, just because it has a lot of protein. And my skin has broken out a little bit. Probably see I'm not wearing makeup even though the lighting's not in here. Lighting in here is so bad, so maybe you can't. But yeah, my skin has been breaking out a little bit, so that's a little bit of a frustration, but it's not that big of a deal, obviously. The other thing has been sleep disturbances, so I have been struggling to get like really full kind of solid nights of sleep just because I have a tendency to wake up sore. So I'll sleep on my left side and then my hip will get really sore or my back will get really sore, and then I'll have to flip over to the right side. and then I'll get really sore on that side and I have to flip over again. So that's been happening, but it's not too bad. Normally, like, I just flip and then fall back asleep and it's okay, but it does make for an interrupted night of sleep, which I'm like, you know, this is preparing me for having a newborn. Slightly. I've noticed a little bit of, you know, I think they call it restless leg, where you just feel like, the light is changing again, where you just feel like you need to stretch all the time. And it was funny because I hadn't experienced this at all, really. Like, I'd experienced like tiny bits of it here and there, but it had always gone away really quickly. And then my friend was saying about her friend who's pregnant right now that she was really struggling with restless leg. And I was like, oh wow, people are so different. Like, I haven't had that at all, really. And then the next night, it was so bad and I was so uncomfortable the whole night and just could not sleep. And it was in my legs and my arms. Like, it was so uncomfortable. So my friend's friend was doing squats before bed to help with that. So I tried that a couple of nights and it seemed to help. I don't know, maybe that's the solution. But it's definitely really uncomfortable, so I'm hoping it won't continue and last for a long time. Last night was better, so that's encouraging. And I think generally that's pretty much it for symptoms. I still don't want to eat cooked vegetables. Still just not in the mood, but raw vegetables are fine, so that's what I'm eating. Yeah, I kind of think that's it. Like, it's been pretty smooth, which I'm really, really thankful for. The big thing is feeling baby all the time. And I don't remember if I talked about this in my last update. I think I started feeling the baby around 15 or 16 weeks, but I wasn't sure that it was the baby at the time. So, you know, I was just getting these little flutters and I was kind of like, I don't know, is this baby or is this just like digestion? I think it's just hard to tell at first. But I really, looking back, think it was definitely baby. And now the movements are so strong. Like, baby's getting so big. 22 weeks. Actually, I think it was 21 weeks. Baby was the size of an eggplant. So I'm not sure what the size is now, but I think they're usually about 1 pound and 11 inches long by 22 weeks. So getting really, really big, and the movements are just getting so much more like decisive and strong, and it is the coolest experience. It was always something I wondered about before I was pregnant, like what would that feel like? And now experiencing it is just so magical and amazing. Sorry, Prim's snoring in the background. She's clearly very comfortable. So yeah, it's been really, really special, and I just cannot wait until my husband can feel from the outside. I've noticed it from the outside. Like, I can put my hand on my belly when the baby's moving around a lot and sometimes feel from the outside, and so I'll call him over and be like, feel, and he just hasn't really been able to. So I think we need a few more weeks probably for the baby to get big and strong enough for him to be able to perceive it, because obviously I'm getting both sensations from the inside and the outside. So it's easier for me to be like, oh yeah, that's definitely baby, whereas he's just like, I don't know. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, it's been special. And I've even noticed, like, baby at first was moving a ton morning and evening, and that was pretty much all I really noticed. And now it's like throughout the day, and it'll be at like particular times even. Like, baby has his or her own little sleep schedule, which is so cool. It's just cool to think about. So yeah, it's been really special and definitely my favorite thing about pregnancy so far. Things I've been considering. So there are a couple of things. One thing is just my birth plan. I would like to have a natural birth, and that is for some kind of medically related reasons that I won't go into. But it is something that I would like, not only would I like to do, but I think would be the best thing for me and baby for a lot of reasons. So I am currently doing lots of research in just natural birth methods, kind of techniques that you can use to help get through it. And I read through the hypnobirthing book. I'm nearly through it. And I don't know, I feel sort of torn about the concept of the book. So the main point is that we kind of get in our own way in labor, and that our bodies react to the way that our minds think about birth. So if we are really, really afraid of birth, that creates tension and that creates pain. I fully believe and accept that that makes total sense. But the book kind of goes further and says that you can have a completely painless birth with these techniques, relaxation, allowing your body basically to birth your baby without your mind getting in the way. I want to use these techniques. I don't know if I can believe that it makes for a completely painless birth. I just think that that seems a little bit unlikely, but I have heard people say that they have that experience. I fully believe that you could have a positive birth experience. I fully believe that it can be not traumatic. I don't think it has to be a terrible, awful experience. I fully believe that you can, have less pain, but I'm not sure I believe it can be painless, which is like the author of the book kind of says, if you want to have a painless birth, you kind of have to believe that. So I don't know if that's going to work for me. We'll see. But I'm also planning on reading a few other natural birth books. The Bradley Method is on my list, and a few other things. If you have any suggestions, let me know. And just see kind of what I think will work for me. Obviously I won't know till I really get there, but at least if I have like a bunch of tools in my toolbox, then I will be able to pick and choose what works for me in the moment, and I'll be prepared. So I'm going to talk to the doctor about all these things next week. I have an appointment. It's my next ultrasound, which is so exciting, and we're going to find out the sex of the baby, which I'm just thrilled about. So hopefully, if baby cooperates, we'll see. But yeah, we're going to find out boy or girl, and we're going to just be able to have a chat with the doctor about just kind of all of these ideas in my head about birth and the hospital policies, and making sure we can get on the same page about things. The other thing that I've been considering has been a much more heavy topic, and I want to be careful about the way that I talk about this just to protect the people involved, but I know someone who recently had 2 miscarriages in a row, and I am just so heartbroken for them. I don't know them really well at all. They're sort of a friend of a friend, but it's so hard to think about, like particularly being pregnant right now, and just knowing the excitement of seeing that positive pregnancy test and recognizing like there is a baby inside of me right now, like there is a little person growing in there, and how long the process is as well. Like pregnancy is such a lengthy thing to go through, and even if you lose a baby in the first trimester, like you may have had that baby inside of you for 10 or 12 weeks, and that's a long time. And even if it's only a week or 2 since conception that you lose the baby, like it's still days where you have spent like being excited and thinking about what your baby's going to be like, and thinking about how they're doing inside of you, and preparing your body so that you can carry them in a really healthy way. And you're talking to your partner about, all the exciting things that come along with it. And you're talking to your family, and well, you might not be, but probably talking to somebody, about how excited you are and how things are going and all this sort of thing. And so like, there's just all of that built up, and then to lose your child at that moment, and just to know like you've lost the future with that child, and it's just awful and so unfair. And like, I know it's selfish, but my first reaction when I heard the news was to like put my hand on my belly and be like, oh goodness, baby, are you okay? And please kick, like let me know that you're in there. Like, it also just adds to my fear because you recognize that life is so fragile and we are not in control, and this is completely in God's hands, and we have to trust him to just do what is best, which I can't even conceive of how losing a child could ever be like within God's plan, but somehow he allows these things, and he allows them for obviously some sovereign reason that we don't understand, but it's just hard. It's just really hard. So moving into praise and praise, I guess, just pray for people, pray for them, pray for couples who have lost children at any age. It's really, really difficult, and it's not the way the world is supposed to be, and they need God's comfort. So I don't really know how to move on from that. It's a very weighty topic, obviously, but I guess we will move on to the next thing. So I'm going to show you a few things in a basket that I have. So this is just a kind of rope woven basket that I got from a dollar store. I'm going to set it over here actually to my left. And we have very limited space in our apartment, so figuring out how we're going to store the stuff for our baby has been a little bit of a challenge. We are not decorating a nursery. We don't have room for a nursery. We have the side of our bed that the bassinet is going to be on, and that's it. And we don't have a dresser either, so just finding space has been tough. So I think we're going to do a lot of under bed storage. So I got these baskets, and the only thing I don't like about storing things in baskets is, particularly clothes, they just kind of end up in a pile, and that's not very conducive to keeping things organized. So I decided to make some little dividers. I just made this out of cardboard, like a cereal box and an old shirt. I covered it and I hand sewed it. Next time I think I'm going to staple it. So I mean, obviously this is super makeshift, but it's working for the moment, and you know, until I can make something maybe slightly more nice looking, I'm going to use this. And it's just nice because it separates the basket out into two sections so that things aren't just completely piled and running into each other, and I like it. So the other thing I was going to tell you about is cloth diapering. So I did make the decision to cloth diaper because for several reasons: environmental, health, like all the reasons. We also just don't have a lot of bin space where we live currently, so I didn't want to be throwing away nappies all the time because I think we would quickly run out of space and it would just be stressful. So I did decide to cloth diaper, and I'm still building up my stash, but I do have two I can show you today. Eventually, hopefully, I'll do like proper reviews on the brands that I use once I know what works for me. But so the first set that I got is called Alvababy, and this is a blue one. I don't know if it's patterned, but these particular ones have poppers or snaps instead of Velcro, which I like because it's harder for the baby to get off, and that makes for less messes, in my opinion, later on when they're big and they're threatening to make messes by taking off their nappy. So I do like that. This is its smallest setting so far as I can tell. If anyone knows how to get it smaller, let me know. But it is currently at the smallest size. That's the waist, that's the leg, and it's nice because this actually snaps over the other wing, so you can really get it tight. And then it has fleece on the inside, so this is a pocket diaper, and on the inside there is a microfiber insert. I don't particularly like microfiber as a material, and I would rather use natural fibers like bamboo or hemp, but I have very limited drying options, and they say that you shouldn't put those natural materials in the dryer, which makes it difficult for me. So I have these microfiber ones, I'm going to see how they go. If I have to find a way to air dry stuff, you know, for natural fabrics, then I will. But for now, that's what we have. So then I got a second variety. This I think is Bambino Mio? Bambino Mio? I'll look it up and I'll link it down below. But anyway, so this is actually a Velcro type, which, like I said, it's not my favorite, but I figured if I have somebody that is going to change the baby and I want to just give them something that's easy, I can hand them this Velcro one if they're not used to cloth diapering or whatever. So this is nice. It's, I don't know if this would be considered an all-in-one or a pocket diaper. I guess it's pocket, but the insert is sewn on one side of it, but you can remove it and you can also add other inserts if you need extra absorption or whatever. This also has a micro fleece inside and a microfiber insert, and again it has the poppers to make it smaller or larger. So right now it's on its smallest rise setting. You have a couple of snaps here, so you have a couple of different options for how big you can make it or how small. So you can snap it down like this, and that's like on its kind of medium size. And of course with Velcro, it's really nice and easy. You can just pop it over like that. And the nice thing about these as well is there's Velcro again on the tab. So on the top of one tab, if that makes sense. So you're able to snap this shut a little bit tighter than you would be able to otherwise. So that's kind of nice. And this is just a nice little kind of turquoise pattern with birds and feathers. They've got cute patterns. It's nice. So those are the two I have so far, and I will keep you updated on my journey with cloth diapering. I'm not really sure how it's going to go, so we will see. So last time I didn't do a bump shot. I don't think I've done any of them because I just am not really sure how to get it properly in the frame, but I'm going to disturb Prim here and see if I can get up to do a bump shot. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Sorry. So you can kind of see under my jacket, but let me take this off so that it's more visible. There we go. So that is bump at 22 weeks. So it's exciting. We're over halfway through, only 18 weeks left. I'll sit back down so you can see my face. And I can't believe it. Like, I was thinking to myself, good word, if I were in college now, which wasn't that long ago, this would be like basically a semester before I have my baby, which really put things in perspective to me. I was like, wow, we are close. So it's exciting. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. I'm glad to have chatted with you guys, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.